Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1:03 p.m., getting a little bit of a late start here in Chicago, Illinois, but it's time for another live stream. Today's August 3rd, 2021. It is a Tuesday, a trivia Tuesday for today. And because the Olympics are still ongoing, today's questions are all going to be Olympic themed. I don't think we'll spend the entire time teasing some of the less popular events, but we probably will spend some time teasing some of the less popular events. I can't guarantee it. I can't help myself. I just have so much fun with the Olympics. Before we get to it, let's say hi to everyone listening in on the audio only version in the podcast. Hopefully you guys are having a good run today. Nothing visual in terms of the trivia for today, so you guys should be able to participate no problem while you're out there running. And for all you guys listening and watching on YouTube after the fact, hopefully it's a point of your day where you can sit back and relax with a nice recovery beverage. I don't have a recovery beverage today because I got a late start getting ready, getting the questions together. I also have some good news on the bike front. Not great news yet, but promising news. So I'll tell you guys all about it in just a sec. But first, let's say hi to everyone who's here in the chat. Kyle Patton's here. He says, howdy. Leona's here as well. Says, hi, Mike and co-fam. With all the training, traveling, and other stuff you're doing, are you getting enough sleep? Only ask because I've been listening to Andrew Huberman's latest podcast on sleep. I have not been getting very good sleep. And part of it is because, when we're at grandma and grandpa's house, there's just always stuff going on. So like my sister-in-law lives there. Their family lives in the same town, just down the street a little bit. But, they're still like working and stuff. And so like a lot of stuff happens when they get off of work. And that's, or like after dinner. And sometimes we did night swim. And so like, we wouldn't be done with activities sometimes till like 7 or 8. And then people are just hanging out. And even though I've been taking it really easy on the summer beers this year, I'm just not sleeping as much. I've also been like sleeping in a little bit too. So like, that 4:30 alarm gets set for every day, but I rarely wake up at 4:30. So I'm probably getting about an hour less sleep than usual, which is bad because I don't get enough sleep to begin with. So no, it's not always an hour less sleep. That's probably the worst of it. But, I'm definitely not getting enough sleep. And it's starting to catch up to me a little bit. I find myself even more kind of like accidentally falling asleep on the couch, which is nice and very relaxing when it's feasible for that to happen. But it's also a signal that I'm just not getting enough sleep, and I'm feeling it too. In some of my workouts, I'm just like, everything's a little bit groggy today. So like, I'm kind of looking forward to, I wish I had another month to train for this triathlon, but I'm also kind of looking forward to, in a couple of weeks, I'll have to start tapering so I can get my body some rest. So I mean, like, it's kind of like, the hay isn't all in the barn yet, but I got whatever hay in the barn that I'm going to be able to get. So, that's kind of where I'm at. Time Matt is here and says, good afternoon. The answer to the first question is 36. Let me see. Is it? Oh, that could be a reasonable guess. Maybe. I'm not sure. You'll see on the first question. We'll get to it in a second. Thomas Villa says, hello. Vincent Veneris is here. Good to see you again. Jonathan Ward's back, as is Innes. He says, we're on a holiday in a camper van, currently cooking and making lots of mess. Oh, that sounds like super fun. Every time I hear the phrase camper van, I think of two things. I think of one, obviously, I think of Top Gear, because I've never heard the phrase until I watched Top Gear and they talked about camper vans. And then also I think about Peppa Pig. Camper van isn't a phrase that we use in the United States. It seems to be a very British or a UK phrase. So like, we don't use that over here. So it's very distinctive. It catches my ear. All right. Oh, look, my mom's here. Hi, Mom. How are you? Ray Solar's Happy Joggers is also here as well. And Andrew Patza says, hi, Kovic. Have you ever considered going back to a strict math training block between races? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just haven't been between races in a long time. And so that would be normally like my default is to just be like, all right, 6 weeks till I have to start training again. Just 6 weeks of easy. But like I've kind of been rolling from one event to another for 2021, which normally I would not recommend. But the way that they've been rolling, like my events have been, they started out with like a 8K time trial and then like a 5K virtual race, or like, was it the other way around? So some shorter stuff. Then I did a half marathon virtual race, and then I did an ultra, so like the training has differed for each of those. And so it gives different systems some rest. So I feel like it hasn't been, well, the way I justify it, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm probably wrong. But the way I've been justifying it is that I'm probably giving myself enough of a rest so that way I can kind of serially compete in all these things. But, also my kind of expectations and goals for them is not to PR in any of them, is just to go out there and feel like I've prepared for the race and I'm having a good time. So like that's kind of where I've been at. But I think that after CIM, because then I'll go from the triathlon and I'll have another race in there. But that's going to be, I'm just letting you guys know there's a tune-up race coming. But there's the triathlon, and then after that I'll be getting ready for Chicago. There's like 6 weeks till Chicago, and then about 12 weeks till CIM. So like the next kind of like 15, 16 weeks are spoken for. And then after that, I'll probably take quite a bit of a break through kind of like the meat of the winter. Although I'm really thinking about Black Canyon, and that's in February. That's 100K. So, but for that, it'll be mostly math style training for a 100K. So, that's probably where like what the long term, I mean, assuming knock on wood, assuming everything goes well and there's no injuries, I think that's kind of where we'll be at. All right, let's get to the first question for today. All right, we'll do that. And then we got a lot of other running questions here too. So we'll get to those as well while we're answering the first question. All right, question number 1 for the Olympic trivia for today. All right, I've always been obsessed with dressage. It's a crazy sport, and I feel like it's right for, I could have done the entire trivia on dressage, and I think it would have been fun. But I don't know if you guys saw any of the clips. Did you guys see the clip of Kevin Hart and Snoop Dogg? Like, I don't know, they weren't commentating, but they were like watching dressage together. It was pretty amazing. You guys got to find that if you haven't seen it. That was really good. But here's a question. The U.S. just won silver in team dressage. I didn't know that there was a team event, but there's team dressage. It's just the highest they've maybe ever finished or finished in a long time. It's newsworthy, apparently. So the U.S. just won silver. But that's just mere context or pretext for the real question. How many judges evaluate the horses in team dressage? Anybody? Let's see. All right. Let's get to Martha says 5. Kyle says 3. Matt says 4. Vincent's also coming in with 5 judges. He says it's the 4 horsemen. That's a great answer. I love that. Awesome. Thomas Will says the crib walk. Yeah. Snoop said that the horse was doing a crib walk. Oh man, I thought that was so funny. Yeah. And Brett Reed said it's the 3 musketeers that do the judging. Frank and Thomas Villa come in with 6. The correct answer is 5. There are 5 judges that evaluate the horses. I don't, and it always makes me wonder if like, are they the same? Are they must be all be from different countries or something. I've never watched dressage, like the actual like event itself, as much as I talked about it. Like you see clips of it like on YouTube, but like I've watched handball, I've watched water polo, I've watched rugby, I've watched like all like as many sports as I can think of. Like I've tried watching them, but like dressage is just never covered. It's never going to make the feed. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know how to watch it. All right, let's get to some running. Let me get to this super chat here first from Ray. Ray Solar's a happy jogger with the super chat. Thanks so much, Ray. I appreciate it so much. He says, what are some names of daily trainers that can double for the marathon race? Good question. That is a good question. Names of daily trainers that can double for the marathon race? I mean, couldn't all of them? I'm trying to think. Like a Nova Blast? That'd be fun. A Mach 4? Mach 4 maybe wouldn't be as good a one. A Pegasus would be a good one. A Beacon? Yeah, these all could be good. Are these the ones? Is that what you're thinking of? Yeah. Shannon says endorphin speed. Yeah, I think so. All right. But that's a good question. Shoes that can double as marathon races. I like that one a lot. We might have to do something like that. Next week we'll have to do. Will there still be Olympics next week? I don't know if there'll still be Olympics next week. If not, we're gonna have to do something shoe name related. I think that would be fun. All right, let me go back up here and find a couple of questions that I saw that caught my eye, that I wanted to get to. Matt852 says, I never heard this before. He says, hello from Philly, where we call happy hour trivia Quizzo. Quizzo? I like that. I never heard that before. Awesome. I'm a little bit dark today. There we go. It's a little better. All right. And Brett Reed says, I apologize if I miss this, but are you going to review the RC Elite 2? Such a great shoe, like Endless Speeds on roids. You know, I am. I'm going to order it today. And this is a good time to probably talk about the update on the bike situation, because it's somewhat, I guess it's kind of somewhat related. So the RC Elite 2, someone said that they were going to send me a pair like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, a long time ago. And so I've just not been looking for them to buy them, because I was like, they're going to send it. They're going to send it because they always send it. And then they never sent it. So I don't know. I tend not to follow up when people are like, hey, or you want to review something. If they don't want to send it to me. All right. Do you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me? I can't hear myself in this anymore, but maybe you guys can still hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I think the battery died on the microphone. I thought I charged it last night, but maybe it died. All right. We're going to go ahead. Let me know if you guys can hear me. All right. Cool. Uh-oh. With echo. I'm not sure how I'm going to fix that. All right. But hopefully, let me know if it's a problem, if I need to kind of switch it up. All right. But to go back to the story. So so I haven't received the RC Elite 2 yet, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and order a pair now at this point. Because if someone wants me to review it for them, I'll review it for them. If they don't, then I'll just get it myself. A lot of times I feel like it's a lot easier that way. That leads me to the update on the bike situation. So for the bike situation, I was kind of waiting to hear from a brand or a person that works with a brand, and they were like, "Hey, would you be interested in working with them?" And I was like, "Well, maybe. Do you think they could send me a bike?" And I was like, "That's a big ask." And so I just heard back. We think it's a go. We'll have to see, with bike inventories and stuff like that. So they're like, let us, it's the same thing that I heard before with the previous brand that I was hoping to work with. Tell us your size and give us your address and contact information, and then we'll check with inventory and get one sent to you right away. So hopefully that'll work out. On the other hand, if that doesn't work out, if I don't hear anything back in another couple of days, what I'll do is I'm just going to go back and I've been going to the different manufacturers' websites and do the inventory locator, and I've been able to find some bikes here and there. It will require a little bit of a road trip to get the bikes, but I feel like I'll be able to get something. I could get something on Craigslist. I've been thinking about that a lot, but I'm like, I don't really know what I'm buying, so I basically just be showing up and handing over money. And then wouldn't know if whatever they were showing me was way different than what was listed, so I just don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at on the used bike situation, just because I don't know very much. So so we'll see on that, but hopefully I'll have a new bike soon. All right. Another one more that I wanted to say. Well, I wanted to say hi to William Lynn Pigula. It says, hey, finally made a live stream. Hello, everyone. What's going on, William? Great to see you. And Saul Martinez says, hi, everyone. Has anyone here had the air pockets pop on their Pegasus shoes while running? I've heard of some people having it happen, and they could hear it. It sounds like they say it sounds like a tire going flat, and then you feel it immediately right afterwards. So I think it happens. I think it's pretty rare. Usually if it happens, you can contact Nike or wherever you got it from and let them know what happened. It may or may not be something that they'll cover. But I have an update there too. I just got an email today, finally, from Roadrunner Sports, saying that the back-ordered version of the Peg 38 that I ordered several months ago, like back when when the Pegasus first came out, that one finally shipped, and so I'll be getting that one sometime soon too. All right. Michael Sandoval wants to know how long you let their hair grow. Yeah, I think I want to get it. Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking either I might have my mother-in-law trim it for me, because she gives everyone haircuts, or she gives, my father-in-law haircuts. She's been doing the girls' haircuts, so I might have her like trim a little bit of it off. Or I'm thinking, you know what? Let's go real short. See if I got enough here to donate some of this hair. I may or may not be able to, for length, and so we'll see. I just gotta make a decision. All right. Let's get to the next question for today. Sorry, I was running late, as you guys saw, so I have to cut and paste these questions in here. All right. I got a typo in here. All right, here's a question. Number 2. According to a recent New York Times article, artistic swimming, or what I would know more as synchronized swimming, apparently artistic swimming has a concussion problem. What percentage of athletes in that sport have experienced a concussion? What percentage of athletes have experienced a concussion? Martha wants to know, are you regrowing the facial hair or just going for that sexy unshaven look? I think I'm just going to leave it a little bit messy, mainly because I don't like the maintenance. So I think like being clean shaven looked a little bit weird. I never quite got used to it again with the long hair. So I think just being a little bit scruffy kind of all the time is probably enough. All right. Martha's going to go with 5 on all our answers for today. It's way more than 5. Frank says 82, and that's and so does Kyle, is in the same category with 80. Jonathan Ward's at 27. New Betcher's 29. Matt 37. Brett's got 14. Garrett's coming. Oh, good to see you, Garrett. Says 32. And Vincent, Vigneris, and Ines are at 45. And Teddy's right at 40. So the answer that they surveyed 430 synchronized or artistic swimmers, which, I mean, that's got to be like all of them, right? I don't know how many synchronized swimmers at the Olympic. I don't know if I actually don't know if it was Olympic caliber synchronized swimmer or all synchronized swimmer, Olympic and otherwise. But out of 430 people that they surveyed, they said 1 in 4 had a concussion. But the article also hypothesized that it'd be much higher than 1 in 4 because 15% of the respondents think that they might have gotten a concussion. So they're thinking it's probably closer to somewhere to 40% of synchronized swimmers having experienced a concussion in their sport. Isn't that crazy? That's just absolutely crazy. William Limpinga says 1492%. Nice. Yeah. And Terry says, are you confusing synchronized swimming and boxing? Yeah, it's an insane number. Like, when are they getting kicked in the head? I don't know. But I suppose, like the article was like, it's all pretty and beautiful up top, but below it takes quite a bit of force and effort and strength to be able to maintain those maneuvers. And so, like, sometimes people get kicked in the head. So, I imagine not just kicked, but like just getting hit in the head. So that's just absolutely insane. Just a crazy high number. Yeah. It's a really high number. I'm surprised. All right. Let's get to question number 3 for today. And 3, this one isn't like as like goofy as some of the other questions that I have, but I wanted to put it in here as a reminder to all you guys that the Olympic marathon is this weekend or Friday morning, right? Isn't that right? Friday? I think Friday at 7 Eastern, 6. I want to say 6 p.m. Central, 6 a.m. Central is what I want to say, but I'll have to double check. But it's this weekend or at the end of the week. So the Olympic marathon, though, even though it's the Tokyo Games, it's going to be held in Sapporo. They're saying it's a different place. It's going to be a little bit cooler for the athletes to run. How far is Sapporo from Tokyo. Chris Carpenter says, "Hi there, first time in the live stream. Wondering, would you say the tempo and X% are suitable for half marathon I have upcoming?" I think that'd be fine. I think that'd be a great choice. I haven't run in them myself, but for the types of running that I understand that shoe is for, I think a half marathon race falls right in there in terms of the type of shoe that you want. So really good choice, I think. Mika says, "Is it on Sunday?" I really thought it was Friday, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Austin Von Baxter says, like swimming in the triathlon, you get kicked in the head. I'm so nervous about that. Man, I'm very nervous about getting kicked because it's like, it's like that Mike Tyson saying, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. I think that's how everyone butchers it. I butchered it too. But I'm just like, what's my plan for when I get punched in the mouth while swimming or like kicked? Or like if I'm swimming next to someone and like I'm trying to breathe and all of a sudden, every time they're swimming by me and I'm trying to breathe, they're just shoving water in my face. I feel like that's going to happen. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Here's a great question. Speaking of artistic swimmers, can you explain the many gestures in gymnastics in between the actual elements, especially the floor exercise? Are they recovery, prep, or what? Yeah, you know what I think? I think that like, a lot of times you see the gymnast. I'm not a gymnast. I don't know anything about gymnastics. I've never been to a gymnastics meet. I can't say that I watched more than 5 floor routines in my entire life, like from beginning to end. I've seen highlights, of course, but never like the whole routines. But I think that what's going on is like they have their thing where they run diagonally across it. You get the long lead up, you get some speed, and then you do the thing. And then you want to get ready for the next one, but you're like 4 or 5 feet away from where you want to start in the corner. So rather than just kind of like walk over, I think they have to like they do it something with their. I think they have like probably things that they do to move from one spot to another in an art. I guess in an artistic way. I'm not sure. That's my hypothesis. I don't think that's a like, oh, he did a half twist with a leg kick out. Like I don't think that's part of the scoring. All right, so let's get to how many miles is Sapporo from Tokyo. And Ozafont wants to know, as the crow flies, I just typed in how many miles is it from Tokyo to Sapporo. I think it gave me a Google map, but it looked pretty direct. But there are, a couple islands you have to traverse to get there. So, all right. Elizabeth Sarah says it's 2021 miles. Frank says it's 78 miles. Brett Reed says 26.2 kilometers. Ines says 200 miles. Ray Baumgartner says 500 miles. Tiba says 770. The answer that I have is 691 miles. So I think Tiba was close. And who else had 700 on there? So those were, I think, the two closest answers. I think Tiba had the closest at 770. Have you guys seen the practice facilities that they have for the athletes? Because they're not letting them like go wherever. And so I've been seeing it from Molly Seidel's Instagram. There's like this really rundown old facility that's like just pavement. It's like blacktop asphalt. It's like peeling. And it's super gross. And that's the only place that I think the race walkers and the marathoners are allowed to train there, and that's it. And so like her like Strava is like the same like loop over and over and over again. It's pretty appalling that like, but I guess it's not, it's dictated because of the fact that they don't want them like, going, running through town and just running all over the place. So I think that's why. Yeah, Martha says, Martha put in 800, and she said because she knew Sapporo was very far north in a totally different climate zone. Yeah, I watched while over the summer, I watched like a Blue Planet, something on like Discovery Channel or something like that, about Sapporo, or was it about Japan? And I think it was about Japan and the different climates, and it showed Sapporo in there, and it was just absolutely amazing how different it is. All right. Saul has got some scheduling info for us. Says the men's Olympic marathon will take place at Sapporo Odori Park on Saturday, August 8th. The race will start at 7 a.m. Sunday, August 8th local time. 2200 Saturday, August 7th Greenwich Mean Time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find someone to give me a conversion on that, because I'm not sure. 7 a.m. Sunday, so that means Saturday, August 7th in the evening. And so if we put that, I'm like 5 or 6 hours before Greenwich Mean Time, I think. So that doesn't seem right to me. I thought someone had said 6 a.m. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that again. Oh, but maybe 7 a.m. local time. So maybe that's what I don't know. I'm so bad with time zones. Frank says the crowds at the events keep getting bigger as the events end, since only athletes are allowed to be in the crowds. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Noah says it's 5 p.m. Central Time. Really? 5 p.m. 5 p.m. on a Saturday? What a great time to watch a marathon. There we go. CV76 says you should have the sister in the live stream talk Olympics. Maybe when she's back, because she's super busy right now. But I'll see if she'll be willing to come on. I'm not sure if she would be allowed to. I'm sure she'd be allowed to. I don't know how much she can tell us. We'll see. We'll see. I'll ask her if she wants to be on. All right. Brett says converting it for me. Marathon is 5 p.m. Central Saturday. What a great time to watch a marathon. Awesome. That'd be good. Perfect time for some recovery beers. Watch a marathon. Oh, man. That's exciting. That's exciting. Awesome. That's the best thing I've heard all day today. Well, the bike thing is probably better news for me. I heard about that today, too. So, awesome. Thanks, everybody. I had to have so much help. I had to have the internet's help to figure out what time to watch a race. Okay. Brett says the women's is 5 p.m. Friday Central. Nice. Cool. 5 p.m. racing. I like it. I mean, I really feel like, I was listening to the Morning Shakeout podcast today, and Noah Droddy was on, and they're talking about how, it doesn't bode well for the sport if, just the current state where people like Noah Droddy, who's top 10 in terms of American marathoners, and Molly Seidel, who is on the Olympic marathon team now, get dropped from their sponsor. Both of them happen to used to be formerly sponsored by Saucony. And I think that the way that it has to change is that, professional running, especially marathoning, has to turn into has to become more of a spectator sport, not just a sport that participants are interested in watching. And one of the ways you do that is by having looped courses like the Marathon Project, in my opinion. They didn't say that, but in my opinion, looped courses and courses that are at fun times for me to watch stuff. So either like the marathon, I know it's not great for the athletes, but like it should be like, figure out what the average time that most people are done with their long runs on a Saturday, make that when like other professional marathons are on. I think that would make it a little bit easier. So that way you can like foam roll and then watch the race, or like have them on in the evenings. So like you could actually watch the race if people are into it. I mean, I don't know. That's just my humble opinion. All right. Let's get to the next question for today. Question number 4. And this is another Olympic Village question, just because, I'm obsessed with the Olympic Village. But mainly I'm obsessed with the Olympic Village because of the dining hall, and I just really want to live in a place with a dining hall. I miss like college life so much, for many reasons, but particularly for the dining hall. That was always so nice, and I took it so much for granted at the time. As the person who now cooks for the family, like just being able to walk up somewhere to having like a buffet of food to choose from just sounds so divine. Sounds like such a luxury. So this question is about the Olympic Village. How many meals per day do they estimate that the Olympic Village in Tokyo is serving on a daily basis? How many meals is the Olympic Village serving? Yeah, Martha wants, speaking of like the marathons, you put marathons at prime time on the weekend instead of the depressing news. There we go. Yeah. Karamik says how to make it more exciting. People with water guns chasing the runner. Oh, that's funny. That's so funny. Frank says, I do not miss college dining hall. You know, well, I also feel like college, like the college dining experience has changed quite a bit. Um, when I went back to college, I think I went back for like a 5-year reunion or something weird like that. Um, I think like me and my buddies were all planning to go back to visit St. Louis at some point a while ago. And it was just like, oh, well, if we pick this other weekend that's really close, it'll be the reunion weekend. So let's go then. So we did that. And like the dining options just exploded. It's just so nice. It's super nice now. But I think that over time, they've realized that's a real big draw for a lot of people. All right. Chris Stapleton thinks it's 30,000 meals. Brett Reed coming in with another 26.2. That's a good guess. That's a really good guess. Vincent coming in with 45,000 meals. Teddy Jordan with 5. Jonathan Ward saying 20,000 meals. Martha coming in with 1492. And Frank saying 27,000. The number that I have, let me see what I didn't write down the source. But the number that I was able to find doing a quick Google search is 48,000 meals per day is what they are serving up. And that's just bizarre. That's so crazy. But I think this year it's got to be more than the normal year, because this year they're not letting the athletes like leave the village. I think I'm not sure how it's the bubble, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how they're managing it, but they're not allowed to leave. And so all their meals are going to be at the village if they're staying in the village. I think I know, because I know, like, I think you don't have to stay in the village. I'm not exactly sure how all that works, but I did see I've been seeing a lot of footage from Richard Murray's Instagram stories. And then today, or maybe yesterday, Elish McColgan did a very thorough walkthrough of the dining hall in the Olympic Village. And there's even like a vegan, I don't know if it was vegan or vegetarian, but there's a vegan like area. There was like a gluten-free area, and they had all different kinds of cuisines. So if you want to like sandwiches, you get sandwiches. If you want a Japanese food, you could do that. So like all different times. I really just want to go and eat there. I just want someone to cook for me. That's really all I want. Mika says, a mate of mine just came back from the Olympics. Apparently this time the dining hall was a letdown because of Corona restrictions. Usually it's pretty wild. Yeah, I heard that there were also like, you have to sit in like little clear plastic cubbies and stuff like that. And I think a lot of the teams were telling their athletes to limit time in the dining hall because, you didn't want to risk not being able to compete due to a exposure. So crazy. Linus Lau says, what's your blood pressure as a runner? I don't actually know what my blood pressure is, but I don't think that there's a blood pressure for runners kind of number. Because I think a lot of that's going to be dependent. I mean, maybe there's a range, but like even like normal for like the average adult, it's pretty wide range for blood pressures. And a lot of it's going to just depend on what your baseline is. So I don't know how to answer that question, and I don't know if there's an answer for that question. Not at least not the kind of answer you're looking for. Teddy Jordan says, did they have hummus? I would imagine probably so. And Samuel Hersey says, food options every need. Yeah, I feel like they have to kind of cater to needs. I don't know. Terry Furlong says there's a lot of burritos if they're doing 48,000 meals. Yeah. All right. Kyle says the coolest thing he's seen so far is the autonomous cars driving athletes around. Are they driving the athletes around? I didn't know that. I seen the robots that are running along, that are driving around the infield for like the discus and stuff. I've seen those. I didn't know that there were autonomous cars driving athletes around. That's awesome. So much fun. Garrett says, I'd like to have sushi for supper the night before running a race. I would assume Tokyo would be a really nice place for that. I would hope so. But like, it would be super disappointing if like you get to the Olympics and you're like, Olympics are in Tokyo, food's going to be super awesome. And then it's like Aramac, like to like the giant American like banquet hall caterer, like corporate like convention caterer does it. Like it'd be like, oh man, nothing but continental breakfast and like special K cereal bars in the afternoons. No disrespect if anyone works for Arabic, but it's not what I would think of like Tokyo Olympic Village fare. Martha says, what if they were served Spam? I would not be surprised if there were Spam at the Olympics. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wonder if like if people go to Kona for like Ironman, do people like load up on Spam when they're there? It's pretty popular in Hawaii. CB76 says, if you break your pole in pole vault, you're DQ'd. I don't know the rule on that. As far as I know, I don't think it's a disqualification, but I do think it counts as a bad jump, like as a missed jump. So really sorry to see what happened to, because I don't know. I don't think so because Sandy Cheeks, she broke her pole, hurt her hip, tried to vault again, but realized she couldn't do it. And so she was just done. I think that's why she couldn't continue. I don't think it's because she her broke her pole. Breaking the pole was one of my biggest fears in pole vaulting. Because like you would just hear stories of like when that thing breaks, it's just fiberglass that's pushed to its limit. And then when it breaks, it's just like the people say it sounds like a gun went off and the shards just shoot everywhere. So you think about it as something that's strong enough to bend and like throw at the time in college, I was like 140 pounds, like to throw a 140-pound person up into the air, like that much force is in that pole. And when it breaks, so I was just always nervous that that was going to happen to me. But I should have had more confidence in the pole and just knowing that, I wasn't strong enough to break a pole. But I guess if the pole got damaged, then that could definitely create some structural problems. All right. Andrew says, hi, I got my Rebel version 2. Best shoe I've used. Awesome. Gonna sound like a psycho, but it feels like you're running on a baby butt's flesh. That does sound a little bit weird. You know who else is really excited about the Rebel version 2? Mario Frioli. I mean, his podcast is sponsored by New Balance, but he's been talking about the Rebel 2. Before that, he'd been talking about the 1080, and I was talking about the Rebel version 2. So you're in good company. That's another shoe that someone said that they were going to send. Never got sent. So it's another one that I'm going to end up picking up. All right. Terry Furlong says, how on earth do you go anywhere and take your pole with you? For us, we were in a small Division III school, so there was no budget for us to fly anywhere. I guess if you made like nationals or something like that, maybe they would fly you. But we just drove everything in like those Ford passenger vans. And so the coach had built this giant tube, a PVC pipe that was very, very thick. And we had several of those and screwed, pipe ends on them. And you would open up the one end, slot all the tubes into pipe poles into the tubes, close it back up. And then they would be like strapped on the front and the back, kind of like a big kayak, but pole vault pole to the van on the top. So that's how we traveled with those. I think I remember seeing Sandy's I think it was her Instagram stories where she like picked them up from the airport. And it's just you pick it up in the same place that you would pick up like if you had golf clubs or car seats come out, just in like the strange sized items. I'm sure it costs a bunch extra to travel with those. Spicy pretzels. Predictions for the marathon winning time. I don't have any predictions. I haven't looked at the course. I haven't looked at what the temperatures are going to be like, but I've been hearing a lot about potential DNFs coming from the field. People were talking on Twitter about how like people are going to be saving themselves for their World Major Marathons appearances and the appearance money, and also the finishing potential prize money for some of those races. That'll be in the fall. So people are anticipating that people may compete, and then if they're not having a great day, drop out. So like that would be disappointing to see, but I understand it. But I actually don't know what the marathon winning time is going to be. I don't know how hilly it's going to be. All right. Brian Nee says, they were saying last night that the track surface in Tokyo is super bouncy. I would have thought there were standards for that kind of thing. I don't think there are standards for that kind of thing, and that's why like certain tracks, especially I hear about it more in indoor tracks where they say like certain indoor tracks are super fast. Indoor tracks also have like the additional kind of variable of the bank on the tracks too, so like that can also kind of change how fast a track is. But I've been hearing the same thing that the Tokyo track is very very bouncy. Ryan Castning says, "Have you tried the Puma Velocity Nitro yet? Is that the Daily Trainer? I have not tried that. I think that's the Daily Trainer, right? Yeah, I have not tried it. I probably won't get to that one. If any other Puma I get to, it would be the Elite, the carbon plated one. But I'm not. I don't know if I'll get to that one. We'll have to see. Oh, but I did order a new pair of shoes. That was not the RC Elite 2 or the Rebel version 2. Both shoes that I do need to order. But I did just pick up a pair of Adios Prime X. So that should be coming soon too. I'm very excited about that one. All right. Let's get to question number 5 for today. This one is kind of staggering, mind-boggling. All right. So here's question number 5. The original budget for Tokyo to host the Olympics was 7.4 billion. That's like what they put in like their like host application package, that thing. How much have they actually spent? They projected $7.4 billion to host the Olympics. How much has Tokyo spent on the Olympics? Affluent Journey says, once I hit 200 miles on the endorphin speed ones, I started getting mild turf toe on the left foot. No excessive wear and show, otherwise still feel good. It's time to switch it out. I mean, if you know it's coming from that shoe, I would say, yeah, I would switch it out. 200 miles seems a little bit low for that to be happening, but I mean, why risk it? Because you don't want to be getting turf toe. So I would say at 200 miles, I'd switch it up. If you have other shoes in in your rotation currently, that could be a way to test it. Try running. I mean, see how your feet are feeling in that. That's how you would kind of figure out, I guess, if it's that shoe that's doing it. But I think that you can find a lot of the endorphin speed ones on sale for like 120 bucks. So you're getting them at a bit of discount. If you're not wanting to move up to the endorphin speed 2, it's pretty much the same shoe as far as I can tell. So it's not a giant upgrade. Even as far as an upper update goes, it's not much that's been updated. So, I would say get another pair of the speed ones if you can. Spicy Pretzel says, what do you think about carbon plated spikes? Triple jump world record got smashed thanks to that technology. I know it's a debate, but what's your take on it? Weren't spikes already carbon plated? I mean, the spike plate is a plate. It does that, right? So is it that, are they that different? I'm not sure. I don't know that much about spike technology. I don't know that if they are or aren't all that different. I think that the general, like my opinion on it is, I like carbon, so I'd say figure out what the rules are and just make sure that's clear and universally applied is kind of how I feel about it. I don't have a problem with carbon, and ultimately at the end of the day, like the Olympics are about winning gold, silver, bronze. It's not about like the ultimate. I mean, it's championship style racing, championship style jumping, I guess. So like, you're still competing against other people. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I think a lot of people, I can understand why people get fired up about carbon in now hitting the track, but or becoming more of a thing on the track. But I mean, that's a lot of energy that people are spending on that discussion. I think maybe that's the wrong take. I don't know. Willowing says, have you had any luck on a bike? Have you looked into renting a bike or a set of wheels? I have some promising movement in a direction. So hopefully I'll know for sure in a day or two. And I've also been looking around. I've been doing like going to different bike manufacturers' websites, and they usually have like a inventory locator.
And so like I've been able to kind of see, okay, if I do need to, I can drive to Madison, Wisconsin, which is like 200 miles away. I could drive up there, pick up a bike that I need. They've got one in stock. Like I don't, by the time I need it, it'd probably be gone. But like I feel like there's generally like something within a couple 100 miles that I need to make a road trip out of it, but I can probably find something. Vincent wants to know, says, is that Adidas the 50 millimeter shoe? It is. I'm not loving the idea of a shoe that's like beyond 40 millimeters. That's one of the reasons I didn't like the Tempo Next Percent. But this the Prime X is just so peculiar looking. It had definitely piqued my interest, so I'm going to go for it. So when I went for it, so I have the Adios Pro 2. I've had that for a little while, just not quite yet into marathon training. So once that happens, that's when I think I'll probably start testing that shoe. And I'll have the Prime X to kind of test both of them out at the same time. So pretty excited. All right. So going back to how much did Tokyo spend on the Olympics? Let's see. We got some numbers here. We've got Frank Hillier coming in with 19 billion. Thibaut 25 billion. I mean, these numbers are just imaginary, right? 16.2 billion. Stevie 76 saying $1 billion. Martha coming in at 9. Jonathan Ward coming in at 12. Affluent Journeys at 15. The number, Mark Ingham says, I think everyone overspends, right? 9 billion. Yeah, everyone does overspend. The article that I was reading, the source I have is the Wall Street Journal. And they said that the average overspend for the Olympics has historically been 172% over the projected budget. But for Tokyo, Wall Street Journal is citing just kind of vaguely, they're citing Japanese government auditors have calculated the figure at $20 billion. So that's quite a bit over the 7.4 billion. They said that an extra 3 billion of that was because of the extra year that it took, but that means that they were going to spend $17 billion. The next most expensive Olympics was London, which spent $9 billion. So that $9 billion guess is a really great guess that everyone put in. But, it's absolutely insane. Lucas Lily's here with the super chat. Thanks, Lucas. Says, hi, Team Kavuzi. Miss you guys. Let's run. Awesome. Yeah, I hope that we can all get together and run sometime soon. Hopefully these races that are going to be coming up, we'll actually get to go, and hopefully we can get together. Thanks so much, Lucas. All right. Martha says, speaking of the endorphin speed, Saucony is sending a brand new pair of the version 2 because they determined her OGs were defective. Oh, the wear in the one part of the outsole. Nice. Good customer service. That's awesome, Martha. That's great to hear. Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. Crypto Camel says the new Saucony endorphin speed colors, 2 colors are terrible. I think that the orange one isn't bad. It reminds me of the Kinvara 10. Or was it the Kinvara? I think it was the 10. That came out in orange. That was supposed to be a throwback to the Kinvara 1, I think. That one I think looks okay, but I don't know. Saucony sometimes has a hard time making a decent looking shoe. They make such great. Their shoes are so good, but like sometimes I'm just like, can't you guys just make a black shoe? You guys, like black on white or black on gray. Don't mess it up. And sometimes they find a way to mess things up. Brian says, why do they still make the Olympic athletes attach their bibs with safety pins? With all the advancements in sports technology, you think someone would come up with a better way? Yeah, I mean, it's been a running joke on Twitter, at least, where people are saying, like, why are the bibs so big? Why does it look like all the bibs are printed on 8.5 by 11 paper, like a regular standard sheet of paper? Like, it's just, and like, it doesn't make sense. The bibs are just ludicrous. They are bad. And it makes no sense. CV76 says Kovacic likes carbon in the coffee. You know what? If it could give me a little boost in the morning, I'd go for it. Definitely go for it. Affluent Journey says the silver heel cap is definitely a design failure, though. Yeah, what happened, right? I feel like what happened with that, my theory on what happened with the silver heel, that little just ball of silver that's in the back of the endorphin speed 2, is that someone sent the draft to their boss saying like, here, I've designed, like, here's like what the team has put together. We're almost done. Everything except the silver heel has been approved. We're just, letting you know which direction we're going. And then the boss like looked at it on the phone and was like, approved, send it to production or something. They're like, oh, really? Okay, we can leave early for the weekend? Cool. I just feel like the project was like 9/10 finished. Everyone was like, let's go. Let's get out of here. So I don't know. Spicy Pretzel says, do you think secondhand shoes are worth it on a tight budget? It's hard for me to invest in a Mexican shoe without breaking the bank. If not, any suggestions for an affordable price? I think that they could be. I don't know if you guys remember way back, but I remember when Seth was buying shoes on like Facebook Marketplace, SJD, because the shoes were expensive. And he found a bunch of really good deals that way. So it can be done. I would say that like if someone were like, I've had these shoes for a couple months and I'm not using them, I wouldn't buy that. But if someone was like, I ran in these shoes about 30 miles on them total, but they're not working out for me, that's the kind of thing that I would buy. Someone that's counted the miles, that's someone who's a runner and like is treating them like a running shoe. But if someone's like, yeah, I had these for a while, they're in good condition, no scuffs, they're clean, like that may be someone that wore them a lot casually or whatever. So I wouldn't necessarily look at that one. That all being said, I think that if you know what kind of shoes you're looking for, I think you can find some pretty good luck at like outlet stores, as long as you're not looking for a specific color or maybe even a specific shoe. But if you're aware of like what's like the Nike lineup, you can find some really good discounts there. Or the general thing that I like to look for is like find new old stock. So like if we're on the Peg 38, look around online to places that are selling Peg 37s, and that's a good way to get a really big discount on some shoes. Again, you might not find the exact color you want, but hopefully you'll be able to find the right size. And that's where I like to save money. I know that there's like second tier shoes, and some of them are getting a lot better, but I still like people to buy like the top tier shoes. But if you need to save a couple of bucks, buy a year or 2 years back. That's kind of how I like to go for it. All right. Let's see. Steve 76 says, these super shoes were owned by a grandma who barely only ran in them on Sundays. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get to the bonus question for today. We got a quick bonus. I thought this one was interesting. Uh-oh. Where did I go? Where's my camera? I don't know where the camera is. Do you guys see me? Am I still there? What happened? What's happening here? Oh, we'll go to the webcam. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. All sorts of technical difficulties today. Whew. I thought things would be better now we're at home. All right, here's the bonus question for today. How much does a Team USA member get from Team USA? Is it the US OC? I don't know what the governing body would be, who writes the checks. But if you remember Team USA and you win a gold medal, you get cash. How much cash do they get? And it's different for different countries too, by the way. How much does it cost? Let's see. Yeah, sorry about all the technical difficulties today. Thanks for letting me know, guys. Frank says $25,000. Tiba says $5,000. Martha's going to put in $14.92 just for consistency. A lot of people saying $0 for winning. You don't get it from the Olympics. Each country's like Olympic committee or their governing bodies tend to give cash awards for winning. C1 Park says, I know Singapore gives $1 million. That's a lot. Heidelin, what's her last name? Heidelin Diaz of Philippines won, I think it was Philippines' first gold medal in the Olympics, I want to say. But she won in a lifting category. I don't remember which one. But she got from the Philippines about $600,000, the equivalent of $600,000. So that's a lot. It's very different from the U.S. number. Nika Katai says, I like the South Korean reward structure. It's basically a good pension for the rest of your life. Whoa, that's crazy. Really crazy. Yeah, Ryan Case is gold medal winner from the Philippines. It's got 640,000 plus a house. Plus a house. That's nice. Frames by Seb says $8,000. Matt 852 says you get your weight in Dogecoin and a get out of jail card from the IRS. That's funny. That reminds me of like movie Armageddon. You know, what were their requests if they were going to go fly to the asteroid and drill a hole so they could drop a nuclear weapon in it? None of them wanted to pay taxes again ever. That was like the last thing on the list. That was pretty fun. You guys remember that? That's one of my favorite movies. All right. After taxes, you owe the U.S. $7,500. That's funny. The answer to that is, at least according to the source that I saw, I'm sure I can confirm that. I have not confirmed it, but the answer that I have is $37,500 for a gold medal from Team USA. But it can vary depending on which country you're from, and I guess how much they're trying to incentivize or create incentives for, in addition to the incentive of being one of the world's best, but other cash incentives. It's $37,500. All right. Okay. I think that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. We're at 2:00. Went for an hour today. Sorry again for all the technical difficulties. I got to get my stuff together. I got some more. You know, it's that lack of sleep. I'm going to blame the lack of sleep for not taking care of the things that I normally take care of. Hopefully you guys can get some more sleep out there. Hopefully I can get more sleep as well. Tomorrow's video, I'm not sure if we're going to have a video tomorrow. Probably not. But we will do another live stream. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you then. In the meantime, take care, everybody.